Hello, welcome to another vlog. It's Chris here. Now, I'm a little late in posting this, but the hackathon is over. The winners have been announced, and I just want to let you know how our app performed and the lessons I've learned. Right off the bat, I'll tell you that we didn't win any of the prizes, unfortunately, but there was so much personal growth, and I don't regret for a second in doing it. Before I get into that, how the app did, my biggest lessons learned, let me talk to you about the winners. So this blog post is actually a pretty interesting read. I think you'll learn a lot and start to see and understand why these people won. There were three different categories. One was most likely to make money. One was best design, and one was building in public. So unfortunately, we didn't win any of these prizes. But again, I learned a lot, and I'll tell you about my biggest lessons learned soon. I do want to call attention to Flomino because the team behind this app has a personal place in my heart. It's Raf and Flow. This app helps you time block and remove distractions so that you can be more productive. And I'm actually helping to beta test this app. The reason why they have a special place in my heart is because they took our courses and they started learning from us. Now, I want to be clear, I'm not taking any credit for their success, right? But it is just cool to know that I personally know these guys and they won first place in the design. I'm being a little fanboy right here. So congratulations, Raf and Flo. Deserved success. All right, so now let's move on to A Better Day, which is the app that I submitted to this hackathon. And it's my lessons learned from doing this because although we didn't win any of the prizes, I learned a ton. There's a lot of personal growth and I can snowball this experience into building more apps. And it's actually fueled my motivation to learn indie app development and making money with apps, not just coding and building apps where I've been spending the majority of the last decade, right? So this is new frontiers for me. This is more marketing and business and things like that and finding product market fit for your app. Anyways, here are some of the challenges that I ran into, which may be helpful for you. So part of the hackathon requirement was that you had to put a paywall when you launch the app. I was really icky about this because I didn't feel like any of the features that I built was worthy of charging money for. So if they didn't have that requirement, I would actually launch this app without any sort of paywall. But ultimately, I ended up choosing the reminders feature as a paywalled feature. And interestingly enough, we did make a couple of dollars, which actually is nothing, right? In terms of money, you can buy a cup of coffee, but it's very motivating because it's an indication that it works. This whole ecosystem of indie app developers and app store, you just have to figure out now how to grow that number. And so you have to learn the best practices and things like that. So I'm glad in putting in-app purchases right from the get-go. And as I learn more about indie app development, that's actually something that's recommended because you want to find out if people are willing to pay for this sort of app. If people are not willing to pay, no one will, buy your app or pay for your in-app purchase. And then perhaps you should focus your attention somewhere else. But you only know that if you put up a paywall. So you're testing if people are willing to give money to solve this problem. So that's why it's recommended that you put up a paywall right away. Second thing I realized was how important finding an app idea actually is. Now, because coding isn't the tough part anymore, that's another learning of mine. Using AI and using all the tools available, coding is actually not the barrier to entry. What is finding the right idea that people are willing to pay for, right? That solves a problem that people are willing to pay for. And also the marketing aspect of it. So once you launch the app, you get an initial boost in the App Store, and Apple will give you that. And you can get some users, but however, if you want a sustained amount of traffic, you have to rely on ASO, ranking keywords for your app, or maybe paid traffic, or more likely creating your own content, doing content marketing. So that means like creating shorts, videos, articles, whatever. Like you have to drive users to your app. So that emphasis on having to do that, I didn't know before. But that's okay. I'm actually up for that challenge because that's right up my alley, having created content for Code with Chris for so many years. Another lesson I learned was just what is possible when you set yourself a deadline. Like the first app that we created, which was this one, emotion tracker. If you go back earlier vlogs in this series, you'll see that it literally took us over a year to get from idea to app store. And for this one, it took 4 days. I gave myself a week because that was the deadline. And it's phenomenal what you can accomplish if you give yourself a date, because you're going to start thinking about all the different ways and what you have to do in order to make that date. And that might mean cutting out features. That might mean cutting corners. You're not going to write good code, things like that, but you will have to launch it. So that forcing function is amazing. Didn't know it could be so quick. And building in public. So that was one other thing about this hackathon that I did. Now, I thought this would just be like sharing a journey along the way and that's it. But it became so much more than that, because it became a way to interact with other people and getting feedback and hearing ideas and making connections and building relationships. That was very encouraging and very motivating, right? I'm not going to speak about the potential of someone stealing your idea and that sort of thing, because I don't really understand or know about that. My idea wasn't revolutionary, so I wasn't afraid of that. But if you do have a really great idea, I'm not going to advise whether you should or should not build in public. I'm just sharing my experience with you with posting along the way. Was really beneficial to me in terms of motivation and encouragement, knowing that there are people who care about what you're doing. So some of the things that, let's see, I talked about all of these things. The time restraint made it a real MVP. If I didn't have that time constraint, I probably wouldn't have shipped the app in that state that it was, right? Here are some of the things we learned. So I touched upon some of these things before. Coding is not the hard part anymore. Anybody can build an app, but what's important is marketing and advertising. To me, building in public was fun, and the indie app developer community is very friendly and inviting. Don't be afraid that you're going to get judged and bashed. If anything, people will encourage you to continue learning and continue growing. Making money with apps is possible. I mentioned this, it's just a couple of dollars. It doesn't buy much, but it broke down so many mental barriers just to see that. And then I realized that I have a lot to learn. So on that note, I am learning. I'm trying to soak up everything that I can in terms of indie app development so that I can create a process in which to follow for myself, and then also for you if you're interested in indie app development yourself. So if there are certain people that you've learned from in terms of making money with apps and indie app development, please comment below. But I have a couple shortlisted myself. So here's how I'm going about it. I'm trying to learn from people who have been there and done that, who are ahead of me in this journey, so that I can learn from them and hopefully accelerate my own learning. And I don't know about you, but back in school, did you used to take notes? Back in school, it was pen and paper. So I remember my friends and I would be taking notes, but we'd always just fall asleep and doze off in class. So when you go back and look at the notes, it would be writing and then a long ink streak where we dozed off, where the pen just went off the page. So that's what I'm trying to do now, is take notes as well as I'm learning. I've watched a couple of videos from Steve Krivada so far, because I watched an interview with him. I found it really interesting about how he was able to build apps without knowing how to code, first of all. But the second of all is that he was focusing a lot on the content marketing and advertising, which is where I feel like I struggle with. So with all these videos that I'm watching, I'm trying to take notes so that I can go back and refer to it and try to make connections across these different videos. I think that's one of the tough things about learning on YouTube. The great thing is that it's free, but each video is self-contained and you got to piece things together yourself. So I'm trying to take detailed notes, and hopefully I will share this notebook. Not hopefully I will share this, but hopefully this is going to help me in formulating my own process. And obviously every app's going to be different, but I do want some general best practices. So I'm making my way through Steve Krivada's videos for now, but I also have App Masters videos that I want to go through, and yeah, it's a ton. So I have to pick carefully, or else I'm going to just spend all my time watching videos and learning without actually putting things into practice. I've got a couple other people on my list, but I would really appreciate it if you have any recommendations on people who you think I should learn from as well. Just type them in the comment below. Remember, my focus is trying to learn indie app development and people who have made money in the App Store. So that's what I'm trying to get to. I'm trying to learn those strategies and those best practices. Now, just in case you're interested in the behind the scenes build process of this hackathon app, I've included it in a workshop inside our CWC Plus program. This is about a 2-hour workshop covering everything from start to finish of how we built this app and how we submitted it. So I have a detailed list of what you'll learn. You can see some of the things, working with notifications, doing graphic assets, Swift data for queries, working with Revenue Cat for in-app purchases, integrating other third-party libraries like Telemetry Deck for analytics and WishKit for feedback capture, the app submission process, and things like that. So all in all, it's about 2 hours long, and you can find it inside CWC Plus. I will caution you, though, if you are completely new to iOS programming, this is probably not for you, because after all, it is only 2 hours long, and I won't be able to teach you everything from scratch. So it does help for this workshop if you have a little basis of knowledge. So that's why I put that there. So again, this is available inside CWC Plus right now, and I'll leave a link in the description below if you're interested in checking out the program. Okay, I think that's where I'm going to end off this vlog, but in the next one, I want to show you more specific plan about what's next for the 2 apps, the Mood Motion Tracker and the A Better Day app. And I also want to share with you some of my key takeaways so that I can summarize this stuff for you and hopefully save you a ton of time. All right, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next vlog.